to do this. I don't. I don't. I don't. I just. No! 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 Look at this! This belongs to me! Not you! None of this! Jim, this belongs to me! Me! I earned this! Not you!
And even beat him. Sorry to say, but he's a legend. But to be the best, you must beat the best, you know? And I feel like I can beat him. So Chavo, I'm calling you out. I said, come on.
There it is. Chavo Guerrero. Right there. You heard it. Emilio Guzman calling you out, and I'm not gonna lie. Love Chavo to death, but Team Emilio right here. That's where I have to go.
Stuff.
So you had a B plus on Raw, B minus on SmackDown, had a B plus and a B. You want to know what show got an absolute S plus in my opinion?
SCP, that's the one.
That's right. Squared Circle Pros Tornado Slam. What a show. From start to finish. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We had, of course, everybody knows, as everybody knows, we've got BCW Wild Horses in Wilson, Texas coming up on February 3rd. And in preparation for that, next week, live on the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling podcast, we will have the one, the only, Exodus Prime as our special guest. AEW star. Again,
Table.
there will possibly be a table there that might or might not have something to do with the match. Come out and see us. I want to say thank you again to everybody in the chat. Thank you to the boys for being here tonight. I want to say thank you to Ross and the boys from Labor 12 for being here. With these guys every time.
What are there?
Okay. Wheelhouse. So all I can say is Los Crudos better bring everything they've got because this is going to be a fight.
I'll say I'm pretty sure I've only heard of like one Texas death match, and didn't David Arquette like almost die?
Did you just talk about
Good
David Arquette?
Lord.
Did you bring David Arquette into a wrestling podcast?
I said, didn't he almost die? Like,
So,
I'm curious because I'm like, how are they gonna make someone? Because all the promos they've done to build him up, I'm like, the way that Sammy's been taking shots for Roman Reigns, the only real shot he's given back is a shot with the chair, and then he just got mollywopped. He's never been the guy who just comes out and messes people up.
What do you get?
And can overpower Roman Reigns. What?
What do you get?
Wally mopped, obviously.
The news we received yesterday of the passing of Terry Funk is one that hits all of us, especially us here in West Texas, really, really hard. Terry Funk was a legend in every sense of the word. He is the reason West Texas wrestling is what it is. Hardcore legend, a legend outside the ring. Okay. I don't know if he's watching live, but it spoke with Scar a little earlier today, and I know he's going to be watching the podcast a little later on. He's doing a little training right now. But there you heard it, Scar. He said he's going to break out of it. Like live on the podcast. He said he can break out of your podcast, or break out of your bear hug. So when you see it,
clip it.
when you see this, What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the tutorial boss, Guapo. With me, the young gun himself, Baby Brust.
What's up, guys?
And sitting right over here, it is the professor himself, Professor Bear from Wrestling Society Network. Professor, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Man, super excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. Before we get into too much, I want to go ahead and throw out a few thank yous. I want to say thank you to Ross and the boys from Labor 12 for our intro outro music. Track's called Head Rush. The album's called Monsters, and they are bangers, every one of them. If you haven't had the opportunity yet, hit labor12.com. That's laborxii.com, or any of your streaming platforms. Check the album out. It's awesome. Want to say thank you to Joseph and American Legacy for our merch. We've, of course, got our Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast hats. We've got beanies. We've got skull caps, and soon to have our Flick All the Things t-shirts. Like, he really hooks us up. I really enjoy the relationship we have. So big thank you to him. Want to say thank you to J-Rebs 3D Printing. If you'll notice this sign right here with all the flashing lights. 3D printed by my boy Cameron. He's out in California showing him how we do things in Texas, and he 3D printed this, put the LED lights in it, and it is absolutely awesome. So if you have something that you would like to have 3D printed like that and show off and make a display out of it, head over to jrebs3dprinting.com and he can get you taken care of. And finally, I want to say thank you to heckyeahradio.com. If you go to heckyeahradio.com right now, well, not right now because we're in the middle of a podcast, but after the podcast, heckyeahradio.com, there is a button at the top that says Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast. If you happen to miss one of the shows, no worries. Click on that button. You can catch the audio version of our podcast. They're all there for you. So big thank you to them. Also want to thank you to the ones I see in the chat. Of course, we have Rick, we have BCW Texas, we have Daddy Boss 74. J-Reb, my boy Cameron, in the chat as well. Appreciate you guys being here. It's going to be a good show. I'm excited about it. Let's go ahead and jump into things. Let's start with SmackDown. Of course, this was the go-home show for King and Queen of the Ring. Happened in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It was a good match. It was what I like. The card was what I expected from a go-home show. We'll start. We had Queen of the Ring, find out who's going to be the finalist, the semifinals. Bianca Belair against Nia Jax. This was a great match. All in all, I wasn't sure what to expect going into it because of course you've got Bianca Belair, who is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then you've got the immovable force in Nia Jax, who has just been. Let me pull back the curtain just a little bit. Her current run in WWE so very much surpasses her first run.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Oh, that was what I wanted to say about this match is that Nia freaking Jax has done a whole 180 in my eyes personally, because I am loving what she's doing out there. I'm freaking loving it.
The match was very back and forth. Very, the speed they kept in the match is one of the things that kept me into it, because a lot of times it's put somebody in the ring with Nia and Nia destroys them. It's one level above a squash match, and this was not that. So,
Well,
Professor,
I
what do
tell
you
you,
think?
well, I tell you one thing. Like y'all said, this run she's on now is amazing, and she has figured out how to tell a great story. And her and Bianca just gave me that great feel of a true wrestling story, whole for whole. You knew Bianca was hurt and she sold it. And Nia just stayed on it. And it just gave you that back and forth. And it just was a tremendous match. And man, I knew it was going to be good, but it was a lot better than I anticipated.
I'm right there with you on that. I was so pleased with the way this one worked. Of course, Nia Jax getting the win in the end, going over on Bianca Belair and making her way to the Queen of the Ring to go up against Lyra Valkyria, who has also been absolutely amazing. We'll talk about her a little bit more when we get into King of the Ring. But since she's come up, I mean, she was doing great things in NXT, but since she's come up to the main roster, she's just been killing it.
Really took advantage of that opportunity, man. She's on it.
Oh yeah.
Of course, we also had LA Knight and the Street Profits going up against Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory. I wasn't quite sure how this one was going to play out. Putting Carmelo Hayes with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, I wasn't real sure how that was going to come together.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed. It was a good match. Of course, LA Knight, that's our boy.
Come on.
Love us some LA Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed this one. And anytime you put Montez Ford in the ring, it's going to be a highlight reel. That's just, it is what it is. And you put him in there with the power of Dawkins, and then you've got the intensity of LA Knight. It was a good balance all the way around. Professor, your thoughts on it?
Again, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I wasn't for sure how they were going to mash together, but the match actually had me. It's times when I get into wrestling and whatever match is on, it just loses me. So I'm half paying attention. And I truly paid attention to the match. And the one thing that I always like with the Street Profits is, as much as everybody loves Dawkins, I mean, Angelo, came so far. Look at the weight he's dropped. Look at how he's flying. He has put so much emphasis into, if y'all think he's going to be the champion, watch this. And I've been loving that.
Now, and the push, I get concerned whenever they push somebody, and unfortunately, I kind of see that, this is something I was kind of talking about with Lyra Valkyria. When they get that just skyrocket push, because there's only one way to go from that. So I like how they're giving a steady push to Dawkins. Like, because of course he's great with Tez, Street Profits are awesome, but Dawkins can hold his own in singles competition, which you can't say for a lot of the tag teams we have out there right now.
The crazy part is Montez Ford can hold his own and singles cup
Yes,
easily. So I mean,
Right.
That's what's crazy is that both. That's what was so nice about that match is LA Knight obviously been an amazing wrestler. Like we love watching him, and then the Street Profits, they are so like chemistry based, like Hardy Boys type movement because they are most definitely their own wrestler, and then it's like they just complement each other. They're not like relying on each other. It was, I don't know, it was just so nice to see like the chemistry there which is like how the match was set up. It was crazy.
Now, one thing I will say in this match is I like the way they're using Carmelo Hayes. The Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under thing, it's cool. It's a fun gimmick, but I'm kind of over it. I hate to say that, but I'm kind of over it. But I like what they're doing with Carmelo Hayes because let's be real about it. In NXT, Carmelo Hayes was doing side quests. Like he had already accomplished what he could accomplish in NXT. So I'm glad to see they're slow burning him.
Oh yeah, and they definitely needed SmackDown needs a believable heel. If you give him enough time, you can see him being a world champion, and you don't have to rush it. Just like you said, a slow build, and give him time to mix it up. Like when what you call it comes back, I draw a blank every time. Lashley come back, he will be a great opponent and he will be able to make, not Lashley is already powerful, but Carmelo's selling is just gonna take it over the moon. And I'm so looking forward to that match.
I am too, and not just Bobby Lashley. and we got kind of a taste of it in this match. Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight. Put those two together in a ring, and that's going to be fire.
Man,
Like I'm excited to see that.
that's
I'm
what's
looking.
so nice. Like the WWE now, like in the past couple of months, has been so like we're pushing great things, we're making greatness happen, and we have greatness coming. Like they're doing so well, like nurturing newer talent now. And oh man, it's like we're saying, every time something new happens, I'm like, man, I'm ready to see where this goes. Like every week.
And exactly, you don't have to have it every other week. Like, bam, the slow burn, the getting people established. Because I'm gonna say it, LA Knight is gonna be the next United States champion. And
Amen.
and when he does it, it's going to be great because they've just built it. They already started small inklings of them having words against each other. They don't have to touch. Just the little look. This word, I'm gonna say this about you. Okay, I ain't gonna forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm interested to see where all of this goes. And I'm right there with you. LA Knight is going to be the next United States champion. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm hoping SummerSlam.
Yeah,
What
perfect.
we have to think, right? Like,
That's kind of where I'm at on it.
Yeah, and great town too. He'll be back in his hometown. What a great way to take that loss, and I'm so looking forward to that.
Oh, it's going to be great. Looking back at SmackDown, we also had Bailey versus Chelsea Green. Of course, Piper Niven with Chelsea Green. I just want to say, Chelsea Green does not get the flowers she deserves because she puts things over so well. Like she sells like no other, and she is her character, and I love every minute of it.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I definitely think I can definitely agree with you there that the that's one thing I've always loved about watching Chelsea Green is the one thing about the women's division, just objectively in comparison to the men's, there's less like high flying craziness happening.
Mm.
And I mean it's just because men are more athletically gifted, but the people.
The thoughts and opinions expressed by Brust may or may not.
Yes, God, please stop saying something controversial, please. But the where I think the gold is in the women's division is the ability to be able to sell it because then it's what some of these wrestlers are able to do are invoke the exact same amount of intensity or more in moves that are like I said, just like not as flashy, not as crazy. And man, like you said, Chelsea Green is so good at it.
You
I
know,
knew. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's funny. I agree with you, but for a different reason. The women's wrestling has not been given the big push as men because when you're women's, the only thing you have is the women's championship. What else can you go for? So they try to throw in crazy storylines that's insulting to the women and to the audience. So I'm glad that they're trying to do more. Like eventually they're going to get a mid-card women's title and that's going to bring out more. So
That's
much
gonna be
more.
a great day.
Well, and there's talks about that now about kind of an equal to the Intercontinental Championship on the men's side for the women's side, and I'm all for it. I think it needs to happen.
I think we have
Oh
way
yeah.
too many really, really, really talented women to not have more prizes out there.
Yeah, and you need something else to build to help build because again, just think if the men only had world titles, half of the guys wouldn't got the chance to be a world champion.
Exactly.
That's right. Absolutely correct. Of course, going into this match, knowing that you're going into King and Queen of the Ring, I really didn't expect Bailey to lose the match. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of know going into that one how that one's going to turn out. But that's the thing I wanted to bring up about Chelsea Green. You know, watching this match, you know it's for the most part you have it in your head. This is what's going to happen. Bailey's going to retain, and that's the way that's going to be. But Chelsea, her selling, her running her character, the way she interacts with Bailey keeps that match just as interesting as if you didn't know how it was going to end.
I have to admit that when Chelsea came back, I thought to myself, okay, she did good in TNA. She had a character, but they're not gonna let her go in WWE. Oh, was I so happy that I was wrong because her character is so good. And just to, like you said, you can give her a 15-second spot about nothing, and she makes gold out of it, where you would actually care because you want to see what is she gonna do next.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. Of course, Bailey pulling this out kind of like we thought would happen. That leaves us with our final match: Randy Orton going up against Tama Tonga. Who's going to make it to King of the Ring on Saturday? I was expecting bloodline interference. Like I was expecting this to be that kind of match. I was pleasantly impressed with this match. I think the back and forth was great. I think Tama got Tama's a star in his own right, but he absolutely got the Randy Orton rub in this match.
Yes, definitely.
And
I mean, for people who've never gotten to see New Japan and never heard of the Gorillas of Destiny, they're in for such a treat. Just their selling and the way they control the ring has been just so. It's what I've been wanting, and I know where this is gonna lead to as far as with them and the Usos, and I'm all for it.
I am all about it. And Rick in the chat, like he's been telling me for going on at least a year now how excited he would be at the concept of having the Gorillas of Destiny in the WWE, and they're making their way, and the Gorillas and the Usos and the new bloodline, and oh man,
They're really, man, you really got to give freaking Triple H and the creative team props. I was so certain that this whole bloodline thing was going to just fall flat and they were just going to be pulling at straws, and they're really keeping it together and keeping it interesting.
they're keeping it fresh.
Yes.
It's the biggest thing because it's real easy to have a cool group, you know, DX, NWO. But what happened to NWO? Everybody became a member of the NWO, and then it fell apart. DX had a place and a time, and this is no longer that place and time. So, to keep it fresh the way they're doing is impressive to me. So I agree with you. Kudos to creative on that.
Yeah, man. It was like I was saying, they're doing such a good job of giving us the product that we want now and building stuff for the future. They're freaking on top of it over there.
I just knew as soon as Roman lost, it was going by the wayside. And that again proves how mindful they are of storylines to let you know you just don't need 1, 2, 3. And let me give kudos to the man that really doesn't need it, but Paul Heyman has been selling so beautifully. I mean,
dangerously himself.
I mean, when I see him jump, I'm starting to jump. I'm like, why are you jumping? But Paulie's jumping. You got to jump. You know he's scared. And that, like you said, that is what makes a storyline where you can pick up and not have the most popular, honestly, the two most popular people in The Rock and Roman not there, and still be going and still have you guessing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm all about it. Of course, Randy Orton goes on to win this match. He solidifies his spot in King of the Ring. But talking about the storylines, the thing that I'm loving right now I don't know if we're calling it the Renaissance or the Triple H era, whatever you want to call it, is that it's not just a storyline. It's okay, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, and they're all plausible. It's like a choose your own adventure book. So
Like I've told so many people of us smart wrestling fans, the best thing for us, we complain about everything in the world. But if you fool us, that's what we want. Because if we can sit and pick it apart, we are bored. We're not happy. We want to be able to be fooled. Take us right when we knew we were going left. That is the mark of truly how you are getting wrestling fans, because it's easy to get casual fans, you can fool them. But for real wrestling fans who are really into it, if you can fool us, we enjoy that.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's you're new on the podcast, but our viewers will recognize when I say it sounds a lot like something I've always said, is that the whole thing, the reason why I'm in this podcast is I'm a wrestling fan because of they build a stereotype, they build a structure, and then they break it, and that breaking it is where it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you
100%.
brought that up the way you did, because that's going to take us right into King of the Ring. Because, I feel like I understand wrestling fairly well.
Yeah.
So in our very first match, we had Liv Morgan up against Becky Lynch for the women's title. The women's title, of course, vacated by Rhea Ripley because she got injured, by Liv, who's on her revenge tour, and she wants to take everything from Rhea. Now, I said this in our prediction show that, I think we need to let the Liv character heal Liv cook a little bit. They've got a history of titles not changing hands in Saudi Arabia. Like Becky's going to win this one, and they fooled me. Just like you're talking about, I was not expecting it. Liv Morgan, your new women's champion.
Oh my goodness. Watching that match, oh my God. I cannot tell you how many times I was freaking out because I am such a big fan of Liv Morgan. So I was sitting there like, I want Liv Morgan to win. But I'm also, like you said, I'm not your average market. I was like, Becky Lynch is probably winning this. Like, that's what's probably going to happen. And so I was just sitting there like, wait, she's doing it. Wait, no, she's not. But oh man, I was so at odds through the entire thing because it was just so good.
Well,
and the steel cage.
No, we're not to that yet.
Oh,
that's wrong. We're at King of the Ring. King and Queen of the Ring. But the thing that gets me is, while the story is in the ring, it's Liv and it's Becky and it's for the belt. They're adding the layer in the story of Dom coming out.
Oh my.
Dom is there specifically to keep Liv from winning the belt, and ends up costing Becky the belt. Liv gets the belt anyway, and it's just sitting there thinking, Mommy's gonna hurt him.
Oh, I tell
I really
you,
see. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and as we were just talking about how we can see things, and honestly, I was on a different podcast and we were talking, and I said, well, Liv is gonna win. They're like, no way. I'm saying, well, let me tell you 2 reasons why. I said, one, Becky hadn't signed, and she's not, because she's gonna take some time off. This is the perfect time for her to drop the belt. Plus, it gives credibility to Liv, because it would have sucked if she just won the Battle Royal. This gives her credibility beating a big time player. 2, that I saw Liv and Dom on a Raw in the background, and nobody said anything. I was like, I see where it's going there. But I have to admit, I didn't expect him to interfere at King Queen of the Ring. I didn't see that, but I knew she was gonna win, so that wasn't surprising for me. But seeing Dawn come out, I was like, "Oh, this is about to be good."
Well, and to give a little history for those who may not have seen it. So what you're talking about, I think it was Jay Uso was doing an interview, and Liv Morgan walks out of a room, and then a few seconds go by, and then Dom walks out of the same room, and so you're like, wait a minute, hold up, did I just see what I think I just saw? And then I don't remember if it was a Raw or SmackDown, but in the background you could see Dom, and he had his purple bandana on. And a little while later in the show, you see Liv walking by, and she's got the bandana in her back pocket.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like,
They're
uh-oh,
so good.
uh-oh.
Oh, it's so
But what is the one thing that Liv said? I'm gonna take everything from you.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, God, I love what they're doing out there, and I love that they're still keep like the one thing I didn't like about the whole Judgment Day was that they were very similar in the bloodline to the bloodline, and they were just controlling in whatever they did. They were just
Right.
the gods of it, whatever they were doing, and getting to see like now we're like seeing cracks and stuff, and there's nothing that Rhea Ripley can say or do because she's out on injury right now. So we just get to sit here and watch like the cracks that we haven't seen in a long time come through. And it's making me excited to be like, well, what is she gonna do when she comes back? Like,
My problem with the Judgment Day was a good concept, and I like it. My problem with it is that they neutered Finn Balor.
oh my
And it
Yeah.
drives me crazy. So
neutered's such a good word.
honestly, that's what they did. You know, you look back at Balor Club, you look back at Bullet Club, you look back at the Demon King, and look at him now.
And you're like, what happened to you?
And then another thing that I like about it, they gave the tease of him and Priest falling out.
Mhm.
And then when they got the titles back, everything got good. So there's been teases and cracks and stuff, but then the crack of Mommy and Priest, like, who runs the Judgment Day? Who told you to make this decision? Now she's gone. He has to make all the decisions. So that gives a big crack.
Yeah, yeah. Bringing that up, actually, that's like Rhea Ripley going out and like getting a new character type talk right there. And
Yeah.
ooh man, am I ready for that? That would be crazy.
So this is just kind of like fantasy booking, but I'll throw it out there. I want this to happen. I want the whole Liv and Dom thing to happen because I want Mommy to be like, all right, cool. You know what? You two are meant for each other. You can have him because let me introduce you to Buddy. Like his contract's coming up at AEW, so you know.
And I can see everybody else is coming home. I can see him come home too.
No, and how great would that be? Like before you bring out Buddy Matthews, before he comes back. Of course, I don't know if you know this or not, but that's Rhea's husband.
Yeah.
I do believe we need to have a custody of Dom match round 2.
No, not again.
We need to have like Dom on a pole match or something.
Oh, Domino pole match.
I've heard that a bunch of people are spectating that happen.
I think it would be great. What a big circle back. That would be
Oh
great.
yeah.
But no, it was a really good match. It surprised me that Liv won. I was happy with the way it went down. Like it kept me going, okay, what's gonna happen next? In just that story.
Oh yeah.
Of course, after that, we get the Queen of the Ring match, Nia Jax against Lyra Valkyria. I am so impressed with Lyra Valkyria right now. Like some of the things she does, and I will say, I said it in our prediction show, I do need a little more from her. I wanted to see her win this just because it would give her another mark on her resume other than I'm Becky Lynch's friend.
And if you ask me, I think it was too early for Nia Jax to win, like big like that. I think she still needed some more time to
Nia or Lyra?
not.
Okay.
I really do think so because for people who like didn't watch her very much in her last run, like they're I mean like me honestly like they're in love with this character like this new version of her and it's all like really great stuff and I just don't think I'm ready to see like because the thing about higher card stuff is you get like locked into it pretty quick and you're there for a long time and for me I feel like she still has more room and more space to fill out before she really gets to that hey this is me this is what I do this is I'm the person people are trying to be this
No,
that, like the Becky Lynch like the Rhea Ripley like the Bianca Belair.
I get you, but I do feel that, of course, Nia won Queen of the Ring. Um, I feel like that she brings, like, with her new character and the way she's doing things, not just in the wrestling aspect, but she's got the attitude that she can carry this queen, bow down peasants. She can't say peasants, though. Booker T, King Booker, the only one that can ever say peasants. But I think she can carry that air really well without turning it into a comic book character.
I agree with that.
So
That's good.
Yeah.
go ahead.
I knew she was gonna win, and the reason why is exactly what you said. This is a perfect building block for her to show more of her comedic side, her royalty. She is a talker, and this is a great way of letting that go. Plus, now that they have put the titles on the line, what is more better than Queen Nia, the WWE champion?
Oh,
Because now think about it.
Through a door.
Oh my god.
Yes. Now think about it like this too. When King Booker had his run, it made it that much better when he got the world title.
Mhm.
And let's be honest, they have not did Bailey any favors since the Royal Rumble. They didn't hardly promote her for WrestleMania. They didn't promote her for the last pay-per-view. It's like it's something they have against Bailey. So now you have this opportunity to take Nia and give her the push that she's gonna make who love you either gonna love her or hate her. There's definitely not gonna be in between with this Queen Nia, and she gets the title on top of that. Man, it's gonna be a beautiful thing.
That is a very good point. The person you want to have the belt is someone that you can either love or hate, because either way, that gives a new element to your wrestling. You know, if that's the person with the belt, then you're like really cheering for the other guy if you hate him, and you're like really cheering for him if you love him. And I think you're very right that she is definitely ready to be in that space because the character is freaking great.
It is. It's a great character, and I want to see them put the belt on her, just so she can start getting into it with Jade Cargill. Like
Oh
that's gonna
man,
be
money.
that's money all day, every day. But it was a good match, and I like she with the attitude, putting the crown on and everything. It's gonna do big things for Nia, and I'm looking forward to it. I was impressed with the fact that Lyra Valkyria even showed up at Raw after the ending of that match.
I've gained so much respect for Valkyrie because not only was she doing great things on NXT, she immediately came onto Raw and just went boom, boom. And I think it was great for her to lose because people are going to be like, well, she lost the Queen of the Ring, but look how she's bouncing back.
Absolutely.
The slow, perfect build to another face. She's definitely going to be. She's going to be in the top level before I say by next year at this time.
Well, and the cool thing is And this is something Rick has said. I've heard him say 100 times. Losing a match doesn't necessarily mean losing anything.
Exactly.
You may not have got the W in the books, but the way she wrestled that match, she didn't lose a damn thing.
She gained fans. I've heard so many people talk about how they were impressed by the loss. And that's what you want. You want to leave people with a mark.
And especially being on a loss, like it's just it's so picture perfect. Like she did so well in that match that now people are like, oh man, I want to see more of her, but she lost, so now they have that like I feel bad for you aspect in it. So now they're like, yeah, let's go. I want to see you win. And oh man, it's gonna be so good.
It is. It's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to it. Of course, we go from there into our triple threat match. You have Sami Zayn, our Intercontinental Champion, up against Chad Gable, who is playing the heel role perfectly, and then of course Big Bronson Reed in on this as well.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those like the Liv and Becky match where there's a story inside the ring, because you've got I'm telling you now, Chad Gable reminds me so much of Kurt Angle, about late 2000s Kurt Angle, Perk Angle, I think they called him. Like this is Perk Gable. That's just what this is. And he is playing the heel role so well, and he's doing it. It's Sammy, he's the underdog. He's everybody's hero, So having them together in this, and then they have their own little feud, and then Bronson Reed, he don't care. He just wants to beat everybody up, take the belt.
Yep.
And so you've had Chad Gable just going off on the Alpha Academy, telling them they're failures and losers. And twice now, before this match, he has just hauled off and slapped Otis. And I'm waiting for Otis to come unglued, and I hope it happens. It didn't happen here, but I hope it does. But it has been, the Alpha Academy hasn't gotten involved. Chad Gable wants them to get involved, and they back off and they won't do it. Tozawa's like, no, that they're just not going to do it. Well, he tells Chad Gable, you're going to get involved, or Chad Gable tells Otis, you're going to get involved, and Chad's holding Sammy. Here comes Big Otis, and Sammy gets out of the way and just lays out Chad Gable, which I was all about. I thought it was great. This allows Sammy to get in the ring, get the pin on Bronson Reed, 1, 2, 3, and still your Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. But the story that comes out of this isn't so much that Sammy's still your Intercontinental Champion. It's the implosion of the Alpha Academy. It's Otis and Chad Gable, which my thoughts on this are the Alpha Academy are going to start migrating over towards Sami Zayn, and you're going to get the Creed brothers, and they're going to join up with Perk Gable.
Yeah.
And this is the fight you're going to start having.
I'm definitely interested to see. And if I'm being honest, this was my least favorite match from it all. But I just don't like. I think Alpha Academy has just, as a plot point, it does not hold very much power to me. And this match, I will say, like, I will give it credit that for the first time in so long, I was actually like turned an ear up to something Alpha Academy related, because I was like, wait a minute, like there might actually be something here. Because in my opinion, I've never liked it always just felt so mid card, and like it was meant to be mid card, and because of that, it was like they didn't put enough energy into it. It was just kind of a thing that existed. And now it's like you're saying, there's an implosion always means a big fight, and a big fight with those guys, because that's what I hate, is that those guys are all really great wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And so if what you're saying does happen, that's going to be gold.
It's going to be really cool, and I hope that's the way it goes down. But one of the things that I really like about this, and it's rare that it happens, and it's happening more and more, is that honestly the match was secondary to this story. And it doesn't happen often, but every now and then you get a good enough story that the match that's happening is secondary to that, and I love it. I'm a story guy. Like storylines that's my jam. So having that storyline to a point that the match feels secondary was great for me.
Uh, everything you said right on point. I mean, even to the Creed brothers joining him, you see it. They planted the seed already. I'm all about it. Plus, the one thing that easily could have got lost but didn't. Bronson Reed took the pin, but he still is not out of it, and
Oh, no.
he's gonna go in it. Now I see Chad winning the title off of Sammy, but he's not gonna have it long because Bronson is gonna try to kill him to get that title. So
And I'm
I
about
see
it.
so
I wanna see it.
much out of it. I see so much they can do with it, like you said, and then Otis. Everybody know Otis. Once Otis start getting the shake, he's gonna go after that.
Everybody know that.
Well, that takes us to our King of the Ring match. Of course, we have Gunther versus Randy Orton, and I was waiting for this one, just because Randy. I mean, he's the Viper. He's anytime he's in the ring, it's a good match. But Gunther puts on banger. I'm gonna steal Sheamus's line: banger after banger after banger. It's just putting the two of them in there together. I was excited for it, and they did not disappoint. Randy sold the hell out of the back. He sold the hell out of the knee. And Gunther, I love the way that he sold the frustration. I just, he should be done already. Why is he not tapping? Why is he not taking the pin? Why is he not done?
What a
So,
great, oh man, and what a great angle to take with Gunther.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, what a great way to steer that match. But
I tell you, Gunther, I knew when he lost, I was like, okay, they are gearing him up for a world title run. There's no doubt about it. He will be world champion before the end of this year. When Triple H threw in the caveat that they got the match at SummerSlam, I'm like, oh my God, this is making the Drew Priest CM Punk thing get even better because you just don't know who's going to get Gunther, and whoever gets them, I feel sorry for them because one thing, their chest is going to be caved in.
oh, complete hamburger meat.
And he is going to, if he doesn't win, that would shock me. And the only reason it would shock me because it's like, okay, they're just going to draw it out. Gunther has the ability. Name me anybody in the WWE right now, male or female, who can finish people with 4 different moves and you don't know what's coming.
Oh, there's not one.
He is a fluent. He's what I like to call a true old school wrestler. He will beat you with wrestling.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
sell it, anything. I've never seen somebody get sold off a clothesline like him since Bradshaw.
Yep.
oh,
Well, there's just
It's
an intensity that he has that's, it's fun to watch. And the chops, man, it's insanity.
they can, if they told me they'd give me $1 million right now to take 5 chops, I would tell them no, thank you, keep your money.
Yep.
One,
That's
yeah.
right.
I
I'm
do
with you
one.
on that.
I would do 1 because I could go to the hospital, but 5, no.
you're dead at that point.
The back and forth in this was great. Of course, Gunther pulls it off. He is your King of the Ring, and as you brought up, he's going to fight the world champion at SummerSlam. But who's it going to be? Because you've got Damian Priest, you've got Drew McIntyre, you've got CM Punk. You're going to have a returning Seth Rollins. Like, who is it going to be? You've got Drew. Drew already has a match against Priest at Clash at the Castle in Scotland. So everybody's like, well, surely Drew McIntyre is going to win in Scotland, but you've got CM Punk in the mix. If he shows up, I mean, this is what I was talking about with the choose your own adventure stuff. There's so many different directions this could go. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested to see how it goes. The one thing that is for sure is just like you said, whoever it is, I feel sorry for him because Gunther's going to cave their chest in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gunther, yeah, he is going to be a world champion. Like he's needed that for a minute now.
That takes us to our main event of the night, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes against Logan Paul. I am not a Logan Paul fan outside the ring. Outside, he's cocky, he's arrogant. I get it. That's his character. But I just don't like the dude. But I've got to give it to him. It's a spot fest every time he gets in the ring. And his business acumen, I mean, in the middle of the PLE ring is a great big old Prime bottle. He says Prime on the top turnbuckles. I mean, dude knows what he's doing. I got to give him that. But this match, him and Cody, it was a clinic in what the matches should look like.
Oh my! And what's so crazy is I was like, really? Like when they first like announced that this is what the match was going to be, I was like, really? Logan Paul is the next guy for Cody Rhodes? Like Cody Rhodes is WWE right now, and we're putting Logan Paul with him.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they shut me up quick because dude, like I don't know how he's done it, but I have not seen a bad match Logan Paul's been in. I have not seen anything where I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if that was no. Every time it's good, and it's like you said, it's a clinic for. It's like he took a textbook in wrestling and just became it. Like
Yeah.
he's so good at doing what needs to be done in the ring.
Well,
I could not say it any better. And it seems like we were just sitting in the room together and talk beforehand, and we have not had one discussion about any of this. I cannot stand Paul. I cannot stand him. But this match has made me have to swallow my guts to say he is a professional wrestler. He
Absolutely.
does everything a professional wrestler should do. He knows how to get heat. He knows how to sell. He knows when to turn it on and turn it off. The guy, as much as it pains me to even think he has a chance, I hate to say it, but he will be a world champion or a WWE champion at some point.
He will,
He
and
really will.
I feel your pain in even saying those words, but it's just facts. It's going to
Yeah.
happen because not only does he put on banger matches, not only does he have the spot fest, but anytime you put Logan Paul anywhere, whether it be in a ring, whether it be in a promo, whether it be, a media event, there's a million eyes on him immediately.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's bound to happen. And the more I watch, the more, and I'm trying to say this with straight face, he deserves it.
Oh, I know that one was hard.
That hurt.
Oh,
That hurt me to say. But today ain't that day because Cody Rhodes with the win and still Universal Champion.
God, I mean, say everything we're saying about Logan Paul. I mean, a lot of it's very true. At least with the being a title holder, I think it's so true about Cody. Like, he is so like made for being a WWE champion. Like, dude is world class out there.
My problem with Cody right now, I love Cody and I love that he finished the story, but I'm seeing now what I was afraid of at WrestleMania. He finished the story. Now what?
The story is over.
What do you do with him now?
And it's not his fault. It's WWE's fault for not having stronger people ready to go. And I used to say this all the time. I was like, when Vince was running the show, the main thing he cared about was the top athlete. You have to have mid carders that are ready to go. You have to have a believable guy to help carry, because no champion, I don't care who they are, a champion is nothing without a contender. And some of the best wrestlers you can name as a world champion had the right contenders. Ric Flair would not be who he is today without Dusty Rhodes, without Magnum TA, without you name it. Rick was a great champion and made a lot of people look good, but in the same token, your incredible contenders made the champion look good.
Yeah, I was just about to say you're absolutely right in the fact that he was a great champion, made a lot of people look good, but that's because a lot of people made him look like a great champion. So I mean, that's the give and take of it, and I'm waiting for that Dusty Rhodes or that Magnum TA or that next person for Cody, because I think Cody can tell a story like no other.
Oh,
Yeah.
But he needs that contender, and I'm interested to see who it's going to be.
I'm kind of, and I me and a couple of guys talked about this earlier, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be Randy Orton because that's an easy, low fruit you can jump on real quick and get through SummerSlam with.
Well, and I'll tell you this, I wouldn't mind seeing that. However, it can't be this Randy Orton. Cody's got to flip that switch and turn him back to heel Randy Orton.
Yeah.
dude, if we could get heel Randy Orton back in the WWE, I don't think there is a better yin to Cody's yang for that title run. Like, I do agree that that is definitely low hanging fruit, and he's a lot older now, so we're not too sure if it's really gonna come through the way we would want it to. But either way, Randy Orton is so good at being a freaking heel. Like,
He's a great heel.
He's better heel than face by far.
Well, I'm gonna do kind of a quick run through on Raw. Just a couple of things I want to talk about there. Of course, the big thing that everybody's talking about was the steel cage match for the Women's World Championship. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, the rematch clause. They get their match going. You can already see from Becky that she's got "I'm not going to be here" in her head. When she was talking to Lyra, you could see it was there. After the match was over, Liv gets the win in this one with the help of Dominic Mysterio, who, again, unwittingly helped her win the match. But just looking at Becky sit in the ring afterwards, you could tell it's over, and that's the angle she's playing. Do I think she's going to go anywhere else? No, I don't. I think just like you said, she's going to take some well-deserved time off. She's going to be a mom for a while. Like, she's going to take the time she needs. But as Liv Morgan is walking towards the back, she runs into Dominic Mysterio, eyeballs him real well, and then just plants this huge kiss on him and just gives that Liv smile. And if you are between the ages of 14 and up, you know the Liv smile. You thought about the Liv smile. It is what it is. And I mean, it just goes so deep into that "I'm going to take everything from Rhea" angle. And I loved it. I thought it was great.
They're riding, using Dom and the injury. Like, I love this Rhea Liv thing that's happening right now, because it's so, like, everything feels so, like, perfect. Like, seeing no other storyline with any other scenario would I say making the secret affair kind of situation, cutting that off by just big kiss on live television already is a bad idea. But with them, it was perfect. It's exactly what she would do. Like,
and you know how much street cred that got Dom?
Oh my God. Everybody in the world, every man in the world hates Dominic Mysterio right now.
I tell you this, I see a lot of people put up wrestlers and their accomplishment with title belts. Somebody put up the accomplishment of Dom. He had 2 titles and a kiss from mommy and a kiss from Liv.
I mean, but hold on now. Who else can say that? Who else can
That's
say
what I'm
they had
saying,
the
bro.
kiss from mommy and the kiss from Liv? Like, you know,
Grown men pray for one of those, and he's got both.
I'm just saying, Dom, kudos, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
Hey, recognize
Never-
King. Dude, jeez.
Never thought I would ever want to be Dominic Mysterio, but for that moment, I wanted to be Dominic Mysterio.
The other big thing that came out of Raw for me was, well, there's 2 things actually. It was the promo at the beginning. Gunther comes out and talks, and then Priest comes out and says, "Look, man, you're doing a bunch of this. That's just, it is what it is." And then here comes Drew. Drew's like, "Look, bro, you forget him. You have to worry about me. Okay? Stop worrying about everybody else. Concentrate on your title because you're coming to fight me in my hometown in front of my people." And the thing I love the most was Drew says, "You know, here they've called me a warrior, a psychopath, a madman. In my country, they just call me Drew because we're like that all the time there." I was like, you know, I love it.
That was
I love it.
The only thing that scares me is that we have already done this song and dance with Drew, just not the hometown part where he's like, "Stop worrying about it. Worry about your title." And we saw
Yeah, it didn't. Well,
it was
no. It went the way it should have went. All he had to do was walk up the ramp. All he had to do was raise the title and walk up the ramp. And he would still be champion today.
yeah.
But no, he had to come get it and do this like awkward crawl on the table and put the belt in CM Punk's face. And you know, in the words of Michael Jones, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
But
Oh, man.
I enjoyed that, and getting into the Rey Mysterio and Carlito thing. I'm enjoying that because I feel like we don't have a whole lot of Rey left.
No.
You know, he has had a storied and just phenomenal, legendary career. And I don't feel like we've got much of it left. And I feel like Carlito is a good way to get him into the mix. And at some point, we get him back to Dom. And I feel like Rey goes out with Dom.
I really think that's why he's with Carlito right now. Is I think they got that button, they got their hand over it right now. They're just waiting for the right time to press it.
Yeah, I
That's-
definitely could see that.
That takes care of our weekend review. Before we get into anything else, I do want to tell everybody if you like what you see and you like what you're hearing, make sure you go to all the socials, click the likes, click the bells, click the subscribe, click all the things, all of them. Click all the things.
All the things.
Yeah, click all the things. Merch coming soon. Before we get into talking about the network, let's the Wrestling Society Network. A couple of weeks ago, I said something about us hitting 150 followers, and when we hit milestones here, I do something stupid. The first time it was taking a chop to the chest, 2 of them actually, from Brian Rage Rivera. This time was a little different. We've got a video queued up and ready to go. If the guy is ready, if so, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Guapo, hosting the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast. I'm here at Squared Circle Pro Tornado Slam. You know, on the podcast a couple of days ago, said something about hitting our 150 follower mark. I was going to get in the ring, do some crazy stuff. So here I am, as you can see, in the ring, ready to do some things.
Ready to do some things.
Ready to do
Look
some
who
things.
showed up.
I told
I've
you
been
I'd be
here
here.
since 9 o'clock. Gringo, what time is it? Like 2? 2 o'clock? We've been waiting all damn day. All day.
I told you I'd be here. Here I am, in the ring, as promised. What'd you tell me all the time? I promise. Here I am. Here I am.
Late as usual.
So say hello to everybody. Say hello to Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Do I really need to say hello? They already know who I am. Y'all know who I am. The one and only. You ready for this?
We boys.
Don't worry about it. They're getting ready for tonight. Big championship match tonight. Chris Watson. Big match tonight. El Gringo Loco, Veronica Vega. Who doesn't have a match tonight? Me. That's why I'm here. And I told this dude, since I don't have a match, I might slap him around. Well, guess what? I told you. Didn't I tell you?
You told me.
Didn't I tell you?
And here I am.
9 a.m. Charlie 50 in the ring, ready. Here we are.
All right. Well, now that you're done with all your Starbucks and getting ready and stuff, here we are. Let's do this.
Watch this.
I'm doing this for y'all, just so you know. You ready for this?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What do you think you're gonna do something?
Let's do this. Let's do it.
You want to tie up with me?
I'll tie up with you right here, right now.
Okay. Oh, you want to tie up with me right now, huh? You're welcome.
And there you have my something stupid. Compliments of Charlie 50 of La Migra. To say that was a little bit uncomfortable is an understatement.
So just being a guy on the outside looking in, and just to give you some context, I'm 6'4", 304, something around that range. I'm a big guy. If he would have did that to me, I would have rolled out the ring, went to my car, and shot him. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh man.
Well, there was a little bit of jaw jacking that happened before that, and on the podcast actually we had Charlie 50, and there's a little bit of running the mouth back and forth, and this is how it ended up. He's just lucky that it was him and not Chris Watson, because that would have went a whole different way if that was Chris Watson. But I digress. We'll get into that another time. What I do want to get into, though, is the Wrestling Society Network. For those that haven't had a chance to see that, to know what it is, give us an idea of how that came to be.
All right. Well, so let me give you a little backstory. The owner and the CEO of it his name is Brady Owens. And in 2018, he decided he was going to start a podcast and do a bunch of stuff. Well, he quickly figured out he couldn't do it by himself. So he stopped it, and he went back to work. And I guess around 2021, he was like, okay, he's ready to start again, but he needed to find the team. So he put a flyer out there for people who wanted to be co-hosts on the podcast. Well, I saw it and I thought about it, and I was like, nah. So then I told my, at the time, fiance, she's my wife now, I told her about it, and she was like, you need to do it. That's right up your alley. I was like, who want to listen to me talk about wrestling? She's like, baby, you would debate with God. If God came down right now, you would say, Lord, I mean no disrespect, but ABC, you're not right. So I was like, kinda, maybe. So I thought about it, and I went ahead and sent him a quick tape. And within the hour of sending that tape in, he hit me up, and we've been rocking ever since together. And so we had a podcast. We started out with a podcast, and originally it was 5 of us, and one dropped off, and it was 4. Then one dropped out, but he had some personal things, but he still stayed when he could. So that left the 3 of us. So we did the podcast, and one day we were talking and came up with an idea. Brady was like, hey, there's 2K promotions out here. I would love to run a promotion. Hey, let's do a 2K promotion. So we was like, okay, cool. So it took us I think 3 months to get everything together. Oh, when I say it was painful doing the voiceovers, Jesus, it was AB, stop. Oh, you said B wrong. Let's do it again. AB. Nope, you forgot C. Come on. So after all that, we did it and we enjoyed it. And before we knew it, we were getting looks because it was on YouTube. Before we knew it, we were getting streams all around the world of people watching this. We were getting 400, 5,000, 10,000. One pay-per-view, we did over 20,000 views. And yeah, and we was like, wow. So we really need to keep up with this. So we were talking about it, and Brady got a chance to, we took a little break to keep the mental sharp. Well, I guess during that time, Brady was like, YouTube is cool, but what if we had a wrestling app? Hey, we can put that on, and we have so much content we did, and not just our content, other people's content. Hey, what if we got independent wrestling shows? Because we were dealing with 2 at the time. So Brady, being the brilliant man he is, he got the stuff together. He let us know, and then we started putting it together. And March of this year, we released it, and we've been going strong ever since. It's and we have all types of different wrestling content. We have, as I said, we have a 2K promotion if you like 2K wrestling. We have other podcasts on there where we don't have a chance to do podcasts like we like to. We got other podcasts on there so you can have different types of views, and maybe you like one better than the other. We have actually wrestling movies, WWE wrestling movies. We have older ones that were made in the 70s, in the 80s, where you can go and watch those. And again, we do have independent wrestling organization. We have their content, and we have that. We have bios. We have documentaries. We even have a wrestling figure promotion. As silly as it sounds, it is one of the most.
It doesn't
Go
sound
ahead.
silly at all. There's what is it, My Damn Toys? Where
Yes.
he has wrestling figures that he shows him getting them. He has matches that he puts together. Like
It's just like that. It is so well done. I tell you, one time I was just looking, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna look so I can be more familiar with it." And I said I was gonna give it 15 minutes. 2 hours later, I was like, "Holy crap! I got to get back to what I was doing." It had immersed me so much, and I was so just amazed by it. We have, as you can see in my background, I have a bunch of games. We have wrestling games where they give their opinions of different wrestling games. So we have so much. We got wrestling comedy, comedians that does wrestling jokes. We have so much. And the best thing about our app for me, it is free.
Wait, all right,
do
wait,
not-
hold on. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you got every form of content that has to do with wrestling that you could find all in one place for free?
For free. And
Oh.
not only is it free, but we have it on big networks. We have it on Roku. We have it on Amazon. We have it on Fire Stick. We have it on Apple Plus. And we're still working on doing some other programming too. But again, right now it is free. Why in the world would you go anywhere else to look for wrestling content when you have this free?
So, as someone who enjoys wrestling content the way I do, like if my wife were in here right now, she she would have no problem telling you I'm always searching up this match or searching up this show or watching this documentary. Or I'm always searching YouTube or going to look here or going to look there. The best part about this is all of these things right there, one app. And the free thing is still blowing my mind.
Yeah, because I mean, even without the very, very extremely vast selection of content and different content forms, the consolidating of all of these different matches is something that is definitely worth paying for. It's worth making an app over. So I think, I don't know, you guys out there, I think y'all jump on this right now while it's still free, because if you ask me, ain't gonna stay that way for long.
And I would be lying if I said it was. But again, what we're trying to do is build a network for wrestling fans to make it easier to find content. And just like we have one independent promotion, Coastal Championship Wrestling, and they have some great wrestlers there. They have footage. We have a match with Dustin Rhodes with Cody and Dusty there.
Oh wow.
These are matches that hadn't been seen. You can see new matches. We have Brian Cage is big in the independents. We have, I think, in three different independent wrestling that we have, they have Brian Cage in them. We have so much different content. And on top of all that, we only have, I say, 30% loaded into that network. Just 30%.
Wow. Well, and it's funny that you bring up Brian Cage because, of course, one of the promotions we have here in Lubbock, and friends of the show, Squared Circle Pro, they have somebody there, and he also wrestles with Buzzsaw Championship Wrestling, BCW. Longtime friend of the show, actually BCW heavyweight champion. His name's Justin Taylor. Actually had his dark match at AEW against Brian Cage. So just the reach of independent wrestling, and we talk about Texas independent wrestling a lot here on this podcast, but just the reach that independent wrestling has, and having a place where you can go and watch, independents you haven't seen before, or people that are wrestling independent that you may have only seen in the big times. A chance to see where they came from.
And that,
you know
yeah,
what?
I think
I'm going to do something because I like y'all, and this is an exclusive only for y'all. We just got our first Canadian independent wrestling. We just signed it. Yes, we did.
Okay.
sick. What?
We actually have a German wrestling league also.
Wow. So this is like international. Like this isn't just territories, Georgia Championship, Mid-South. This is international.
We're trying to get any independent wrestling organization anywhere around the world who wants to do business with us. We will talk to you. We won't. I always put it like this. I'm 50 years old. So I lived during the heydays of the territorial system. And I love that because you had so many different wrestling groups around, and it was great. But the only thing then, cable was new. They didn't have a lot of places that had that type of marketing. So it was to their local place. Well, I feel like we're now in the age of territories again, where they're all over the place. But the best thing about it, we can watch it. Like I said, now I'm in Tennessee. I can watch Canadian wrestling. Uh, I'm gonna give you another one. I know my my co my partner is gonna kick me in the butt for it, but I can't help myself. We got our first West Coast also wrestling
Really?
league.
Okay.
So that we, like I said, if it was up to us, we would have one from every state.
All right, Rick, Mike, Terry, y'all are hearing this. It's time to put
We
Texas
about-
on the map
Come on.
with this app. So
We're about
This is
to business.
literally like the place for like just wrestling fans because it has what anything you'd want. It's just a streamlined directly wrestling anything you want wrestling to your eyeballs. Like it's freaking Canadian.
I mean,
Dude.
and one of the things I know Brady is very excited about, and what gave him the idea is it's cool to be in front of your computer and watch stuff, but how much better is it being in front of the TV?
oh, absolutely, 100%.
And that's what we want. We want you to be comfortable. We want you, like I said, for the whole family. We have things where the kids may enjoy watching. And, I understand because I'm a father too. Some things that you don't want to show your younger kids. Well, we have things specifically they would like. Like, again, the wrestling figures, they would get a kick out of that.
Oh, yeah.
We're just looking. If it's wrestling based, we're definitely looking to put it on.
Well, and we've got Rick in the chat. We've got Mike in the chat. Of course, I understand looking over at the chat and hearing from Sarah, if we have a bit of a delay on this, and that's because Mother Nature is apparently mad at West Texas right now.
It's always mad at West Texas, man.
We're having tornadoes and hailstorms and all sorts of craziness, but you can't keep down Not Your Average Mark Wrestling podcast.
Why? Because we're not average. Come on. Yeah.
But one thing I do love about this is kind of what Bruss was saying. This is streamlined for someone like myself who enjoys all kinds of wrestling content. So if I wanted, like let's let everybody know, if I wanted to go right now, I'll go to my my Fire Stick or my Fire TV, either one, and I want to download this app. What am I looking for?
You're looking for WSN. I don't know how good you can get the logo on my shirt, but this will be the logo coming up.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the logo. So you search WSN, you download the app, and there you have it. Just wrestling content upon wrestling content. I'm excited about this.
And of course, as big of a wrestling fan that I am, one thing I definitely shoot for is women's wrestling. We have a bunch of bios on women's wrestling. Also, like I said, we are all about it. If you're a casual fan and want to get into wrestling, you can go on this site and you can learn, because I have a show called Professor Burr's Wrestling Class, and I tell history about different wrestling back in the days. I know we have different guys who have interviews with independent wrestlers. You get to learn them with some of the big ones. We got one with Edge, Adam Copeland, right before he won the belt from Christian. They did an interview with him. We have a lot of great content. And plus, we also have our Facebook page. And I did a poll recently of what independent wrestling would you like to see on it? And a lot of people won't believe this, but everyone that put something on there, I went and did research on. I went and looked at them. I went and the ones I could get contact with, I tried to get in contact with. again, you got to, as for, you got to just be willing to be open-minded, and that's what we want to do. We try to give the fans what we can give them. So if you could think of something that we hadn't thought of, put it in the chats. And also on our page, we just hit 2,300 members, and I always, any wrestling organization, come join our page, promote your wrestling, promote your shirts, promote. We want you to. Where other places, no, we don't want promotion. We want you to self promote. We want people to learn about you. Maybe you can grab a fan from something they see. Maybe they'll get interested in your wrestling, and we'll have it on the network, and then they'll go to your website, and you never know. So we love for people to promote themselves.
Well, and in the time that we've been involved with, for the most part, Texas independent wrestling, the one thing I've learned from that is self-promotion is the key. You have to self-promote. And having a platform of this size to do that is absolutely amazing.
I think so. And like I said, I love wrestling. And as my partner just said, you would be surprised on how much time we put into it. I mean, I've gotten up at 6 in the morning and ain't went to bed until 3 or 4 that next night. I mean, but honestly, it's fun for me. I'm a wrestling fan, so I never thought I could get into the business the way I'm getting into it, and I want to show the love, appreciation, and the respect for the business. That's why when I talk to people, I show respect. I never say I could do what a wrestler could do, because I would never insult anyone like that. Again, I show respect, and the business has earned that from me.
Well, and I couldn't agree with that more. Like, I don't think there's enough people that show the business the respect it deserves, or the talent for that matter. Especially some of the, how does MJF put it, smart marks. Speaking of which, he's back in AEW. Showed back up in
Yes.
pay-per-view. That was awesome. We'll get into that on the next show. But we are coming up to the end of our podcast. And what we like to do every time we have a guest on is, for the people watching, for the people listening, for the wrestling world in general, I'd like to open the floor up to you for any final thoughts.
Well, first off, as I always say, thank you, wrestling fans, because without you, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Thank you for being a wrestling fan. Thank you for your comments, your thoughts, and just continue giving the love to wrestling, because as much as tribalism that's go on today, as easy as it's here now, it can be gone. Don't think any different. So please, it's okay to have your opinion. Just if you don't agree, move on, and no hard feelings. But again, thank you. Please check us out on Facebook. We are the Wrestling Society Network. Please join. Definitely, please check out that app. And if you know a friend that's a wrestling fan, tell them, like, dude, get on this app. Girl, get on this app. It's free, and they have a ton of stuff. Get on it.
Man, I personally just want to thank you for the work that you do in your app. It's what we wrestling fans really want. It's like my dad said. Same thing with my brother. Same thing with me. I catch myself time and time again on YouTube search bar looking up something specific, and if as opposed to being on YouTube and scrolling through thousands of matches I've already seen, all the popular ones, and trying to find the one in a good enough quality and all this. Having a place where that's the focus and it's not, this huge streaming platform and only a niche part of it. It's just a wrestling streaming platform. That's freaking great, man. I mean, that's freaking great.
I appreciate it. And if you have some ideas, if you see something that we don't have, please let us know. We are not above listening and trying to get it. You just never know.
Well, and as for my final thought, I'm excited about this app. And as a matter of fact, I have a Fire TV. So as soon as we get done here, I'm going to my Fire TV and downloading the app. This is a great opportunity for wrestling fans everywhere to have wrestling content ready to go for you and not searching for everything, just having the wrestling content you want to find. Make sure you check it out. I believe you said Amazon, Fire Stick, Fire TV, Roku, Apple Plus, any of these platforms you can find this. Search up WSN, head to Facebook, check out Wrestling Society Network. You'll find us there. Like, we're part of it. I've been enjoying it. I, of course, want to thank you, Professor Bear, for coming on the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
you're as you mentioned a couple of times, we're very like-minded in how deep we get into wrestling, and I don't think there's anything better than that. That's why I love doing this podcast and everybody in the chat. It's so nice just to be able to go back and forth and have a platform to share your thoughts. And so thank you for doing that with us.
Oh man, again, thank y'all for having me, and thank you. And let me give you your flowers. I see that y'all advertise. We always enjoy it. I always try. Again, every now and then you might see me throw up a thumb or throw up something. I'm on here probably a lot more than I should be, but yeah. And like I said, if you can come up with something, because talking, I just thought of an idea, something we don't have. And as soon as we get off of here, I'm going to my partner and I'm going to talk to him about it.
There you go. Well, again, everybody go search the app, WSN, hit the Facebook, look for Wrestling Society Network. And we're going to have to do this again at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're going to have this talk again at SummerSlam and see what happened.
All right.
But we're going to be back again next week, Thursday, 8 o'clock, with a very special guest. I'm looking forward to that. You want to know who it is? You just got to tune in next Thursday. It is what it is.
Be there or be square.
Until then, I'm Guapo. This is Baby Bruss. That's Professor Bear. And we are not your average marks. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.